rank the top 10 3D platformers.
Oh no!
Yeah, I've been hurt before, but I keep crawling back because nothing screams healthy coping like failing a double jump and blaming it on the developers. Today we're counting down the top 10 3D platformers money can't buy. Games that made me feel joy, pain, and occasionally question gravity itself. Also, P.S. This list is based on my personal taste, emotional instability, and the number of times a game has made me say, "This feels like happiness." Let's get it. At number 10, kicking it off, is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, or as I call it, what if The Last of Us was about a marshmallow with a god complex? This game let Kirby eat a staircase and we all acted like that wasn't horrifying, and now I'm glorifying it. It's bright, it's charming, and honestly, I've never been the biggest fan of the Kirby games, mostly because of how easy they are. I mean, they're like nice comfort food, like a chicken noodle soup you always go to when you want to feel cozy, but like nothing too engaging, and that is why this one surprised me so much. The level design is brilliant. Did I spell it right? It still retains that simple Kirby element, but on a much more grand scale. And just like The Last of Us, this game takes place in a post-apocalyptic looking world, which is kind of weird for a Kirby game, but that's what makes me love it so much. And this isn't one of those open level exploration based collectathon 3D platformers. This one is way more concise, more akin to something like Super Mario 3D World maybe, even though it doesn't have the same isometric type camera view.
Oh no!
It's a solid platformer that proves Nintendo can still make 3D platforming magic outside of Mario. Speaking of Nintendo making 3D platforming magic outside of Mario, there's something else coming up on this list. Number 9, It Takes Two. Listen, this is a 3D platformer in the same way Taco Bell is Mexican food. Sure, technically. It Takes Two is that rare co-op game that requires communication, coordination, and the slow but steady destruction of your friendships.
Mamma mia!
The story is about a couple trying to fix their marriage through puzzles, platforming, and being bullied by a talking book, who, by the way, sounds like if Antonio Banderas was a life coach.
Bestseller and an expert on love!
But the variety here is incredible, and just when you get bored of one mechanic, the game slaps you with another. It's like a platforming fever dream, and how do you respect that? Like, this is the game you play with a friend, a sibling, or that person you've been thinking of destroying emotionally. I don't know, you pick who you want to play it with. Honestly though, it is platforming co-op bliss. And by bliss, I mean, I swear I pressed the jump button, Kevin! The game is really good for co-op. Better than anything Little Big Planet could achieve, and I say that with love because I fucking loved Little Big Planet when I was younger. But this is just on a whole new level. It's creative as hell, beautiful to look at, and forces you to communicate. So basically, the opposite of Xbox Live! Don't ask me what the hell that meant. At number 8, Psychonauts 2 is what happens when someone lets Tim Schafer do drugs and make a video game. Rick and Morty, on the other hand, is what happens when someone lets Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon do a fuck ton of drugs and make a cartoon. But fuck, we're not talking about Rick and Morty right now. Back to Psychonauts 2! This game is so weird and I love it. I mean, you jump through a tooth-teamed level and somehow that's not even top 3 weirdest moments this game has to offer. But I will say the writing of the game is brilliant, the art style is anxiety and claymation form, and the gameplay is tighter than Destroy Lonely's pants. The platforming is super solid here, but the real win is the imagination with the levels. No two levels are alike, and half of them gave me dreams that required actual therapy. I'm not joking! Double Fine took a cult classic here and somehow made it even better. This one's for the weirdos, and I love it. Number 7, Super Mario 3D World is the most please your parents Mario game ever. It's polished, it's clean, it's easy to understand, unless you play multiplayer. This game is really good. And I know on the Switch it's bundled in with Bowser's Fury, but honestly this entry is for 3D World specifically. Not that I don't think Bowser's Fury is a brilliant game, it's just kind of unfair to put that in here. You know, I'm talking about individual games, not like collections or 2-in-1 packs or anything, so I'm just gonna put only 3D World in here. This game is very commonly described as a 2D Mario game that plays in a 3D space, and I kind of agree, and I don't even think that's a bad thing. It's very streamlined and concise, and it's really nice for short bursts of play. But if you're more of an open exploration type of Mario guy, number 6 is for you. Super Mario Odyssey. I know, Super Mario Odyssey at number 6. I just know some fucker out there named Dave is fuming at this right now. Look, I don't think Mario Odyssey is the greatest thing since bread. Like, it's really good. It's fucking number 6 on my list. Let's just calm down a little bit. I don't think it's the holy grail or peak of 3D platforming. It's great, it's amazing, it's Mario's gap year, he travels the world. Look, Mario Odyssey is the world tour Mario never knew he needed. It's all here. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's the best 3D Mario game, and that's coming later in the list. But for now, let's just shower this game with praises. It's amazing! The movement is silky, the level design is genius, and you get to possess a T-Rex using a sentient hat. That's the only game you can talk about and string those particular words together, damn it. At number 5, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is basically a Pixar movie with shotguns. And I ain't complaining, mama. Now, I know this isn't the most platformer out there. Like, heck, there might be even one or two fools out there who would say, oh, this isn't a platformer. And to that I say, have you seen Bubsy 3D? If that thing's a platformer, even goddamn Transformers Prime on 3DS is a platformer. So don't you ever question Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. There's a lot of jumping. Apart from obviously being the best looking game on this list, it just feels like one of the most polished platformers I've ever played, and the way you can instantaneously just change worlds when you move through some of these portals. It just incorporates a very unique gameplay element that makes it stand out from any other platformer, and that's one thing that could really help a platformer, when it has a gimmick that's not just a gimmick. But sometimes people say I make no sense. On to the next! Number 4! I'm getting excited now. Crash Bandicoot 4 is platforming greatness personified. I mean, this game doesn't respect your time at all. Honestly, I don't even know if I respect my time either, because I be making these stupid fucking videos, but goddamn, that's beside the point. I say this game doesn't respect your time, what I mean is that the game punishes you. You will fail a lot of times and keep coming back. But it is so much better than the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games. Like, I played the Insane Trilogy when it came out back in 2019, and I loved it, don't get me wrong, even though the only one I could finish was Crash 3 Warp because I'm a fucking pussy. But this game is so much better than them while retaining everything we loved about those games. Like, it still has that same Crash Bandicoot DNA, but it just has more modernized levels with wider spaces to move around, more variety when it comes to the types of platforming challenges. And apparently, I've heard some people say this is technically more challenging than the original trilogy if you play in classic mode, which basically just means you play with a live system that if you run out, you have to go back to the beginning of the level again. Unlike the old games, that's why it's called classic system. But I personally played the modern system, which basically means you can't really die. As long as you've passed the checkpoint, even if you die a million times, you can continue from that checkpoint. So, yeah, I guess you could say I played on easy mode, but I love this game. Amazing. But make no mistake, Crash Bandicoot 4 is what happens when the developers go, hey buddy, remember when games made you cry? Let's bring that back. I'm gonna have to take a deep breath for this one. No, wait, I just took a deep breath. I'm gonna take another deep breath. Number 3 is Astro's Playroom. Number 3 is Astrobot. Look, Astrobot is goddamn amazing. What else can I say? If you like Mario, you're probably gonna like this one. Now, does that mean this is a Mario ripoff? I'm not saying it isn't, but it does add so many things that make it so distinct from Mario, even though you can clearly see the huge amount of inspiration from Mario Odyssey and Galaxy. But not in like a copy your homework and try to slightly tweak it so the teacher doesn't know type of way. And I think what's beautiful about Astrobot is the fact that it kind of embraces these influences from the Mario games, specifically Galaxy and Odyssey, but it adds its own element that makes it so different to play. Well, first of all, it doesn't have the sleek movement and maneuvering system that Mario Odyssey does have. I mean, let's be real. But I do like the fact that the levels in this game aren't as super open-ended as Odyssey's levels, and the moment-to-moment platforming, the actual jumping challenges, I find more fun. The game also has an insane amount of variety. It's one of those platformers that keep blowing my mind every level. I'm like, when is it gonna stop? It's just new ideas every few minutes. Honestly, Astrobot is phenomenal, and I'm not gonna lie, Sony did beat Nintendo with their own game. Speaking of Nintendo, number 2 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh my god. You ever wonder what would happen if Nintendo made a 3D Mario game without Mario in it? Well, I hope you're goddamn happy because we have no 3D Mario game for the Switch 2's launch window. Donkey Kong Bonanza, or as people who think they're more intelligent than they actually are call it, Super Mario Odyssey 2.
Oh no!
This game is almost the best 3D platformer I have ever played in my life. I mean, whoa. I mean, I guess that's not all that shocking, considering the fact that the exact same team who made Super Mario Odyssey made this game, but my god, I did not expect Donkey Kong to beat Mario at its own game. Donkey Kong Bonanza just released, and after sinking an unhealthy amount of hours into it within a few days, it is the most fun I've had in a long time from any video game. But I'm the guy who finds arranging empty bottles in a straight line fun, so am I really the best judge for fun? Look, this game has so much to offer that I wouldn't even be able to scratch the tip of the iceberg trying to fit it into a small little section in a top 10 video. I mean, it retains a lot of elements from Super Mario Odyssey, things like the collectathon DNA, the maneuvering options. Donkey Kong is a joy to control. And not to mention the game's gimmick of being able to break everything. And I originally thought this game was gonna have some performance issues because apparently a lot of people who play the demos noticed that. I don't know, man. Look, I'm not no Digital Foundry here, but this thing is smooth as hell to me. It looks great, it feels very unique because you can totally reform the levels, and for God's sake, it's Donkey Kong! What more could you want? A game that's even better. That exists? Oh, you bet your shiny ass it does! Super Mario Galaxy 2. Please disregard that sound I just made. Look, if you know two things about me, you know I'm swagged up, and you know I love Mario Galaxy 2. Ow! See, I chose to put Mario Galaxy 2 on this list and not include Mario Galaxy at all, not because I think Mario Galaxy isn't great, but I just think 2 is the more superior game, and I'm not gonna get into too much detail about why because that would take a while, but I just thought it'd be weird putting them both on the list since they're so similar. They're like almost the same game except 2's better. If you think one's better, you can suck it! Okay, fine, I'll do it. 2 has a more streamlined level selection hub, even though 1's technically is prettier. 2 has way better level variety, and doesn't overly rely on the whole spherical gravitational gimmick, and also has more traditional, smaller, straight platforming levels, which, for my taste, I find better. And lastly, 2 just adds more ideas on top of what we already got with 1, like Yoshi and his power-ups. Mario Galaxy 2 is a platforming paradise. The ideas are endless. Sometimes I play this game and it's like, did God himself have a hand at creating this thing? The level design and the minute-to-minute gameplay is just so much better than anything else I've ever played, damn it. And I just played Bonanza! It's still not as good as Galaxy 2. So what do you think? Was the list good? Am I an irredeemable psychopath? Do you want to strangle me until I get asphyxiated? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, stay tuned for my next top 10. Goddamn, what the hell will it be?